something that I don't think he's ever tried. None of the surgical nurses had ever seen this. And he performed a miracle. And not only am I here, but my leg's here, and it works great. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting is because I was feeling good, because I was peaceful, I didn't do treatment. Now, I know that's what we teach. I have a dear friend that was a minister when I was first starting my studies years and years ago. And her name is Reverend Sally Hill. And Sally is now in Hawaii, and I see her when she comes back to visit family from time to time. And Sally told me several years ago, I don't do treatment anymore. And I said, you don't? And she said, no. Every single thought, every idea, every word, everything that goes through my mind is the treatment. And my consciousness has moved to where the majority of the time that's good, so my life is good. And I don't do treatment. Now, I'm not suggesting that if you have things that are causing you worry, that you don't do treatment or have someone do treatment for you, because that means you're not there yet. But when there is no worry, there's no need for treatment.
Right.
When you're at peace, when you're in joy, when you're being you, which is what I was doing all those days sitting in the hospital, I didn't do treatment. But I did do my own spiritual practices. And that's why we teach so many different things. After we got past the first, I don't know, maybe almost 2 weeks, week and a half at least, there was no real threat of being rushed off to surgery in an emergency situation. So Rick let me keep my iPad. And my iPad had Diksha music on it. So at night, the lights would go out, and I'd turn on my music, and I allowed that to soothe me through the evening and the night. I didn't sleep a lot in the hospital. I think it was all the stuff they had me on. But I'd sleep a few hours here and there and be up for a while and a few hours again. But I spent a lot of time listening to my music, and that touched my soul. During those days when I recognized they were trying to save my leg, I have to tell you that night I didn't have the iPad and I didn't have music. And I think I told the story 2 weeks ago. This wound vac was still on my leg, and it was clogged. That's why the nurse was trying to work on it and trying to clear the clog, and it worked for about an hour, and then the clog came back again. And when the wound vac would get clogged, it had an alarm sound on it. Beep, beep, beep. Beep, beep, beep. Beep, beep, beep. 24 hours of beep, beep, beep. Non-stop. Non-stop for 24 hours. Now, I took a deep breath after everyone left. I accepted that they were trying to save my leg and that this was serious. And I went to Theta Healing, which Theta Healing has some level of treatment in it. It's kind of a combination of different modalities, but I didn't even do the treatment part. I went to this plane of existence that I consider spirit, and I visualize it as being an opalescent white light, which is what we were taught when we did our Theta Healing training, and I love that visualization. That's when I did the talk about spiritual orgasms, because that plane of existence did that for me. So I took myself to this plane of existence and visualized this opalescent white light, and I left my leg there. I gave my leg to Spirit. I didn't have to worry. Spirit was in control. I was going to be okay. And I would check in every couple of days. I'd forget, oh, I left my leg. I left my leg with Spirit. I got to check, is it still there? And I would mentally go in and check. Yeah, there it is. There it is. God's got my leg. I don't have to think about it. Use whatever spiritual practices work for you in whatever you're doing to create that belief that no matter what it looks like today, everything is exactly as it should be and everything is okay. Compassion. The dictionary says compassion is a deep feeling of sharing the suffering of another together with the inclination to give aid or support. Now, I went to the Science of Mind textbook in my concordance, and there's almost nothing about compassion. Ernest Holmes did not write about compassion. He wrote about truth. And I had someone tell me a couple of weeks ago after I talked a little about compassion, because I felt I picked up a little compassion for others. I'd never had a physical problem. Seriously, I'd never had a physical problem. And, you know, standard things. I had my tonsils out when I was a little kid, and I had babies. Those were my only hospital visits my whole life. So this was a whole new thing for me. But I walked away from this conversation a couple of weeks ago thinking, you really didn't understand. Compassion is about feeling how we can give aid or support to somebody. And the way I do that is standing in truth. And the way I do that is kind of on the realm of Ernest Holmes, because I don't get real gushy, and I'm not going to feel sorry for you. I'm going to stand with you in truth, and I'm going to help you see what's causing the problem. That's what I do. Get to the root of the problem. Let's erase the root of the problem, and everything will clear.
What does standing in truth mean?
What does standing in truth mean? Standing in truth means that I recognize that God is, and there is nothing else. That Spirit is moving through every moment. Again, no matter what it looks like. I don't believe in being tested, and I certainly would never suggest that anybody else do. But that was one of the first things that occurred to me, is that I don't know if this is a test, because I don't know what exactly this caused, but it taught me a lot. And it taught me about who I really am. You squeeze the orange, what do you get? Apple juice?
Of course.
What do you get? You squeeze an orange, what do you get? Orange juice. Is apple juice possible from an orange?
No.
No. When we are squeezed, we see the truth of ourselves. We see who and what we really are. We see the level of our belief. We see the level of our trust. Okay, I was squeezed a little bit. And I saw that I didn't crumble. I had moments. 20, 30 minutes. I've talked to you about that before. But I stayed in my truth of knowing everything was okay. Giving aid and support. That's what that nurse did, who taught me what to visualize. She didn't pat me on the head and say, oh, honey, surgeon says you can't do anything. I asked a question and she came and helped. If you ask a question, watch out. Someone might actually help you. Know, beyond anything in your life, wherever you are this moment, this very moment, that it is exactly where you should be to start the next part of your adventure. Thank you.